Welcome to the Extreme Chess Championship. Today we have 8 of the best young chess players in America competing to be the first Extreme Chess Champion.
Crushing everyone's soul is in the realm of possibility.
Whenever you lose, you're not happy.
I think I'm gonna win.
It's kind of like Survivor, right?
I played in parks from Manhattan to Brooklyn.
A lot of girls are better than guys.
I have the best chess tactics.
I'm gonna play aggressively and hope for the best.
Welcome to the second round of the Extreme Chess Championships. I'm Jonathan Corbblah, and this is Jennifer Shahade. We have a barn burner for you guys today, the Final Four.
I'm here with the 4 semifinalists in our Extreme Chess Championship. Gotta be nervous a little bit, huh?
I don't get excited until after it's over if I win. Like during the tournament, I just try to focus on playing well.
I'm excited. I'm glad I moved on, ready to play another game.
What sets you apart?
The shorter the clock gets, the more of an edge I have.
I'm more focused on my own game. I think that gives me a slight edge because if I play my best chess, I'll advance.
I'm just hanging in there for survival.
Excited to play Kassa?
Not really.
He's deceptively tricky. He's gonna be calm before the game and he's gonna be guns a-blazing during the game.
Well, we have Justus and Kassa playing in the first round. And then we have Alex and Elliot in the second round. And they're both gonna be great matches. Justus actually just beat Kassa's record for the youngest African-American master ever. And this is going to be a really exciting and key matchup.
Not only did Justus just break Kassa's record, but also there was a previous game between the two. So I think Kassa actually wants to measure a little bit of revenge for the youngster beating his record. Let's see what these two players have to say.
I heard before that you were the youngest African-American master, correct?
Yeah.
And then Justus took that over.
Records are meant to be broken. I'm very proud of him. I think it's like a wonderful thing that there are more African-American youth coming up and doing well. It's important to see balance and diversity in every sort of institution you come across. He is an up-and-coming talent and he's had some great results recently, so it's going to be a tough fight.
You're going to be playing Kassa Korley, and what's interesting about that is he was the youngest ever African-American master, and you recently broke that record. So that's a pretty interesting matchup. What do you think of it?
He was the person I wanted to play most because I had a winning record against him. He doesn't really try to attack. He just try to perfect his position, and I think I'm gonna win.
Extreme Chess Semifinals Game 1. With the white pieces, we have Justus Williams. With the black pieces, we have Kassa Korley. Start your clocks.
Kassa has the black pieces and Justus has white. Let's see the beginning of the game.
Now, Justus has gotten white in both of his games so far, and he's developing his bishop to that Fianchetto diagonal again and moving his knights out. He's making it a pretty slow game. It's called the English opening.
Definitely really popular among all of our competitors has been the hyper-modern style of chess, which basically means that instead of occupying the middle of the board, you sort of allow your opponent to occupy the middle.
Now Kassa has to decide whether to exchange knights. Looks like he retreated his knight to b6. To trade or not to trade? Always an important decision.
Each chess piece has a different average value. The pawn is worth 1 point. The knights and the bishop are worth about 3 points, although grandmasters generally prefer the bishop. The rook is worth 5 points. Now the queen, she's the powerhouse of the board. She's worth 9. There's no point value for the king since he can't be captured. Once he's trapped, the game is over. You should use this during your games to decide if a trade is good for you. For instance, if I was white in this position, I would use my rook to capture my opponent's bishop. Then, when they recapture with the knight, I take their knight with my other rook, end up with 6 points in the bag instead of 5 points for my opponent.
Kassa's actually going for a pawn thrust in the center. Kassa's saying, well, if you're not going to occupy the center, Justus, I sure am. Now, Justus, on the other hand, has achieved a very interesting pawn on d5. That pawn right in the center of the board is going to be both an asset and a liability for him.
This is really strange. Was there some kind of rule in this tournament about each player having to move their knight to the edge at least once?
Kassa decides to just blast open the position, pushing his pawn and releasing that fianchettoed bishop. We saw how powerful that fianchettoed bishop was in Alyssa's game, just slicing the entire board, but she wasn't able to win. Maybe Kassa will be able to use his bishop even more effectively in this game.
Justus has been studying like crazy lately, taking the game very, very seriously.
And the great thing about Kassa is that not only is he a great chess player, he's also an exceptional student. He was recently accepted to both Duke and Cornell.
Both these players are destined to go on to really big and great things.
What do you think of this position? A very interesting struggle. It all comes down to that pawn in the center of the board. Is it a weakness or a strength? On one hand, there's no other pawns. The pawn doesn't have any friends to help defend it. But on the other hand, it can push forward and forward because it's so far advanced right now.
Not only does it have any pawns to the side of it since it's an isolated pawn, but it's also a passed pawn since there's no black pawns that can counter it. It's definitely the #1 concern for both players. I'm a big fan of blockading those passed pawns with my knight.
A blockade is when there's a pawn and you put a piece right in front of it to stop it from moving. Right now that pawn on d5 is not blockaded at all. It can move to d6 right away if it wanted to. But instead, Justus tries to take it slow and moves his rook behind the pawn so it has ample protection. Kassa must have heard you because
I gotta keep it down back here. Maybe I should be in the Extreme Chess Championship.
Maybe you should be because he played this move. He's moving his knight. It looks like it's an aggressive move, trying to move the knight closer to the white territory. But in reality, I think Kassa is not trying to attack with this move. He wants to defend by putting the knight right in front of the pawn.
Nothing really occupying the center. He's finally got to start getting his pieces going towards the middle.
I like Kassa's position because he's got those 2 bishops. I love the bishops, so whenever I have 2 of them, I'm happy.
Oh, we know that. You love those bishops, but Jonathan loves his knights.
Kassa moving his rook to try to put pressure on that pawn. Black seems to be making a lot of progress in this position towards attacking White's pawns.
Finally waking up those pieces and getting them out into the middle of the board.
Justus attacks Kassa's queen. And now Kassa just snaps off that pawn.
Did Justus make a mistake here and lose his winning chances?
Justus plays rook over, and that's a discovered attack. The bishop is unleashed.
Justus's move was very deceptive. Tactical chess. A discovery at the same time, the queen can't snap off the rook because of the knight. Beautiful move by Justus.
And the rook, if it's captured by the bishop can capture the queen.
That's a huge discovery. Amazing tactics by Justus, and looks like Kassa's just shaken. But he's very rapidly just captured that rook. So now this is the big change in the game. Kassa lost his queen, and now he's toast.
Don't count him out yet, because he's gotten a lot for it. He got the rook, and he got a bishop, and he has an extra pawn.
Well, the time is ticking. With pressure on you, you gotta be able to know which pieces work the best.
But I think that the queen should give White a little bit of a
Let's get down to brass
there.
tacks, Jen. Who do you like better? Who do you think is gonna win this game?
I love the queen, but at the same time, I like Kassa's clock situation, so I might go say, even though I like the fact that Justus has the queen, Kassa might just win this game anyway.
Justus has been giving himself a hard time with the clock. He's putting himself in hard position, considering time is such a big factor in this tournament.
We've got Justus trying to open some lines, invading with his queen. That's what you gotta do. And now he's trying to get his rook into the fray.
White has a big battery going on the 7th rank, his queen and rook. So Justus is looking to finish off the game really quickly by capturing on f7.
Well, the interesting thing here is that rook on the 7th rank is also performing a really important defensive duty. If it wasn't there, black would play bishop check, and the white king would have nowhere to go. To fend off the attack on that f-pawn, Kassa decides, why not trade a pair of rooks? So he moves his rook, which is so aggressively placed here, backwards to force a trade.
Probably not what Kassa wants to do.
Justus grabs that rook trade and hoping that Kassa will simply recapture with the rook, which he does. But now Justus has a fantastic move. He plays queen check, hitting the king and the bishop at the same time.
That's called a fork, and unfortunately that is probably the big turning point in this game. It was still a little bit uncertain as to who would be able to pull it out, but now Kassa's toast.
It looks like Justus is just trying to pile up on that pawn on f7. Justus keeps creeping closer to that king. We talked about how if you don't know what else to do, just move your queen close to the king, right? And after Justus does this, he gets to take that pawn. The pawn can't recapture because of the bishop.
Ah, you pin to win.
It looks all but over. Justus took another pawn right next to the opponent's king, and Kassa just gives up that h-pawn.
Deadly maneuver.
And it's a check. The king can't escape to the g8 square because the bishop still guards it. That killer bishop, that's why I love them.
Checkmate.
Checkmate by Justus. Queen takes bishop. The king can't run away because that beautiful bishop slices down the whole diagonal.
It's all over, baby. It's all over.
Justus will definitely get some poetic justice in this game.
And Kassa, unfortunately, not only got his record broken by Justus, but now he got his heart broken. Good job, Justus. Justus moves on. He's going to be awaiting the outcome between Elliot and Alex. Let's hear what both players have to say.
A very tough semifinals match against Justus. You were both down to not a lot of time, and it looked like you were on top there.
Yeah, I certainly had the upper hand out of the opening. As the second started ticking away, he got some counterplay, and I did not find the most accurate moves. Even when he's in worse positions, he finds a way to fight on, and that's the great qualities of a chess player. It was a tough game and a deserved victory. I look forward to seeing more good things from him in the future.
Who do you want to play in the final match?
I want to play Elliot Liu because I played him in the New York International and he beat me when I was completely winning.
That's so interesting that you say that because Alex Barnett, I think, might want to get revenge on you.
Just trying to dodge him.
And now we have the last game in our second round, the Final Four match between Elliot and Alex.
Well, it's kind of funny because if you remember in my pregame interview with you, I said that Alyssa and Alex are probably the two least favorite people I'd want to play. And of course it happens that I have to play both of them back to back.
I think I have pretty good chances if I get out of the opening alive.
Extreme Chess semi-final game number 2. With the white pieces, we have Elliot Liu. With the black pieces, we have Alex Barnett. Congratulations, guys, and start your clock.
It's a big matchup, and Elliot has the white pieces.
Alex decides to try the Sicilian again. It worked against Elena, so why not keep playing it? For Alex, it's not always about playing the best moves, it's about confusing your opponents and upsetting them. And I think that's why he's been able to play both poker and chess so successfully.
What's up? This is Elliot Liu. Right now I am a junior at Stanford University and I'd like to welcome you to my daily life. I am a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity. I'm responsible for organizing, planning, financing all of our social events. Saturday afternoon, Stanford's campus, take you guys to the game.
We're walking over to the band right now.
Who are we playing?
We're playing Arizona in like 30 minutes.
Are we gonna win?
Obviously. Extreme chess audience, I hope you guys enjoy. They don't know about Barnes, you know? They think they know about Barnes, but they don't know about Barnes. Oh no! Extreme chess, you suck. Just saying. All these really hurt, annoying, random people get in my world of chilling, and I don't like it very much. A whole bunch of random chess enthusiasts who suck, they randomly show up and blow my whole day. Exhibit A, Bingy Wingy. I'm talking to him, you're over. Can I get some space, bro? Chess club, blasey, blah, la, la, la. Oh, no!
What can I say about Alex? Give him 1 minute and he'll give you your head.
Alex is very solid in his position, although his king isn't castled.
This kid does not like the castling rule.
It looks like his king is going to be probably situated on that square for a little while to come.
Yeah, he's not worried about it. There's all those pawns covering his king. You know, what's Elliot gonna do about it?
Well, if he keeps thinking that for too long, things might get dangerous.
Elliot decides to pin the knight. Alex hops into his knight to e5, the center of the board. He might be thinking like me, he likes the bishop and he wants to take that bishop right in front of the king. But Elliot pinned it. Now Alex took the bishop, but it's a check. So that doesn't give Elliot enough time to capture Alex's queen.
It might be possible that the pawn might push forward and fork the bishop and knight.
Well, I don't know about that. I think Alex's position looks really solid. As long as he doesn't make a move like what you said. E5. Forking those two pieces. I'm not so sure about that. Because then Elliot can play knight up and it attacks the queen. If the bishop captures, the pawn will recapture, and now you can fork me all you want, but you can't take either of those because I've got this beautiful rook pinning your pawn.
Things are getting very, very dangerous for Alex.
Instead, Alex decides to just move his queen away from danger. Definitely a smart move, that's for sure. And this kid, as we saw against Elena, knows how to defend. Alex was attacking that knight in the middle of the board, so Elliot develops his rook and also defends at the same time.
One of our tournament favorites, Elliot, looks like he's playing really solid.
But here we have a nice move by Alex. He's finally developing. He's moving his knight out, and he's ready to move that knight to g6, that square that's actually also going to be attacking the bishop on f4.
Let me guess. I bet you think it would be a good idea for Alex to trade his knight for the bishop, huh?
I want those bishops, but Alex already has two bishops. So, you know, it's true that it looks like Elliot's got the upper hand right now in terms of development, but as soon as Alex just gets those bishop outs and castles, I think he's going to be better.
I agree with what you're saying, but it looks like Elliot's position is a lot simpler to play, and because of his possibilities with all that development, I think I like white better.
But how to continue? That's the real question here. I'm not exactly sure because Alex has such a clear plan. Elliot, on the other hand, seems like he's already maximized all the position of his pieces.
Wow, look at that knight go to d5! An amazing sacrifice.
That's going to be some dangerous stuff for Alex. Those rook is going to be peering right at his king.
It looks like Alex doesn't want to take that piece.
Nope, he trades knights instead.
You can see Justus peering into the window, sizing up his competition for the next game.
Alex, instead of just grabbing material, decides he wants to try to develop his pieces so that he can finally castle. You know what I think? I think that's a very good idea, and if Alex can consolidate here without losing any material, that might just be the wisest choice.
Let's see if Alex can hold on to this position or if Elliot can push forward.
Elliot makes another sacrifice. He plays knight to f5. In this case, the pawn can't even capture it because it's straight up pinned. But he's just doing dances with his knights here.
And
wow.
Immediately the hoodie comes off. Both players are pressing deep. Alex is really intense, realizing that his opponent is going at his king.
I don't think this is a good sign for Alex. When a poker player takes off his hoodie, it's like he's saying that he doesn't like his position anymore.
Well, what Kasparov used to do was take off his watch at the beginning of his game. And then when he knew the game was firmly in place, he'd put his watch back on.
We'll still have to see what happens because the material is equal, and Alex has managed to castle. He responded to that knight move by just castling, which I am sure glad that Alex finally castled because the kids at home were thinking that you should just keep your king in the center of the board.
And now another bolt from the blue.
Another sacrifice! He takes that pawn right in front of the king. Elliot is just determined to sacrifice his knights in this game.
I love this kid.
Why can't Alex just take this knight off?
Because he's probably afraid of that Elliot has another sacrifice about to come in.
If the king captures that, we have this variation. The bishop sacrifice itself, and then after Elliot plays bishop h6 check, if Alex captures it, the queen comes forward, and then the rook comes forward to check the king, and then when the king goes all the way deep into the position, we have this beautiful final checkmate with the pawn. That is like winning a war with a pebble.
It looks like Elliot had this all worked out. These guys are on top of their game here at the Extreme Chess Championships.
And now after knight takes pawn though, Alex saw that all instantly too.
Probably Alex had a feeling that he was going to get checkmated and didn't want to go anywhere near that knight.
After bishop takes pawn, that also attacks the rook, by the way. Elliot plays no mind to that. His thought is, I just want to checkmate.
Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate.
Elliot's been offering him everything in this position, from banana splits to filet mignon, and finally he's like, I gotta take off something. You know, I can't keep saying no. That would be rude.
Elliot's just a really generous kid. I like this guy. He's a humanitarian of chess.
And now it's interesting because even though it looks like Black's king is exposed, I'm wondering if Elliot has a finishing blow.
But if Alex can hold on, it looks like he's going to be headed into the final. Let's see what happens next.
Interesting move. Played queen over, and that threatens the devastating queen to g7 check, opening up everything on the king. Not only that, that rook on the e file is going to get into play.
Big checkmate in 2 coming up. Even queen f6 and knight g7 look like it's going to be devastating as well, so Alex has to stop all of those threats.
Alex is on the run. He's running with his king. Is he gonna make it to the finish line, or is he gonna get stopped just before?
Oh boy, I have no idea who's gonna win this game. I like white, then I like black. I like white, then I like black. But every time I make a decision in this tournament, I'm always wrong. Jen, help me out.
Well, I don't think you're gonna like black very much anymore, because look at this boom move. Rook takes pawn. What a move. Now, if the queen recaptures this rook, Elliot has this move, knight g7 check. That's forking the king and the queen. They're both attacked, but only one of them can move.
Fantastic move by Elliot here.
I think Elliot's just gonna take that queen and then take the bishop, and then it's probably gonna be over pretty shortly thereafter.
It looks like instead of opting for the queen, he decides to check.
Things are looking very dire for Alex here. If he had another hoodie, he would be taking that hoodie off now too.
Absolutely.
Elliot's had such success with that knight earlier in the game, so he uses it to check again.
He doesn't even take the queen. Don't try this at home. This is some high-level chess.
He played queen check, and now he's giving up his knight again. He's been trying to get rid of that knight for the whole game.
A knight to remember.
Finally, Alex is taking that kamikaze knight, but Elliot plays a fantastic finishing mate to finish off a beautiful game. Queen to g5, checkmate.
Checkmate.
What a fantastic win by Elliot Liu.
Elliot played like a surgeon. Cut his way through the competition. Amazing.
We've seen a lot of mates like this before in the tournament, with the queen right up against the king, this time defended by the bishop. But the difference here is it was preceded by so many beautiful sacrifices. Elliot worked for this win, and wow, did he play a good game.
Top-notch game. Let's hear from our opponent.
Was that a game to please the crowds?
Yeah, I try. I'm a man of style, so I like to have some fun. I kind of knew I would get into a type of position that would offer up this type of chances. When I saw them, I said, what the heck, just might as well go for it and see what happens.
The way I played didn't. He played better than me, so he deserved to win.
Better luck next time, and we'll definitely be following your chess career.
Thanks.
Thanks for
having me. Sorry I lost.
How do you feel going into the final playing against Justus Williams?
Hey, I mean, I survived to this point. Justus and I have played once before, and he actually should have beaten me. I know people think I'm the favorite, but he's young with energy, as opposed to me. I'm jet lagged and getting old. I'm actually really happy I made it this far, because I'm surprised myself.
Now we're down to our final two, and it's really exciting because we have two great players for you. We have Elliot and Justus. But who's gonna win? Will it be Justus, the youngest African-American chess master of all time? This kid is stoic, determined, and he's really serious about his chess. Or
is it gonna be Elliot, the heartthrob of chess, who brings great imagination, inspiration, and precision to the table? At the Extreme Chess Championship, only one person can win.
It's gonna be fun no matter what, and I'm really excited. Unfortunately, we can't see it now because our time is up. But you have to stay tuned for the next time on the Extreme Chess Championship.
Whether you're on Team Elliot or Team Justus, you're not gonna wanna miss the final.